Well, good afternoon and welcome to Match of the Day in rather unfamiliar surroundings. As you'll see, I'm outside the hotel in Solihull where the Football League chairman of 92 clubs are gathered together discussing the problems of the game of football and a policy for future years. I can tell you that those discussions up to now have been most optimistic and very constructive, and I myself am quite excited about it. They're going on now for maybe another hour while the programme's running, and at the end of that time we hope to bring you further news. But meantime, back to Bob for the action.
Well, there's obviously great interest in the outcome of the Football League seminar, and Jimmy will be back, hopefully, with League Secretary Graham Kelly later. We'll also be bringing you details of today's transfer news concerning Tottenham's Terry Yorath, who could be returning to his former club, Leeds United. And Leeds, in fact, feature in one of our games today, which enable us to assess the quality of football in 3 divisions. Leeds versus Crystal Palace comes after our mini-match, where we see the problems facing that once successful club Burnley, who for the first time in their history are in Division 3. But we start with yesterday's sensational second division action at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Newcastle, 2 clubs who've recovered well after a bad start to the season. Your commentator, John Motson.
This Chelsea side have taken 14 points from the last possible 16. A run of 6 wins and 2 draws, which has sent them hurrying up the second division table from 20th to 5th. So they're expecting a big welcome from the Stamford Bridge crowd. There's only one change from the team which won at Orient in midweek, and that's at number 5, where Mickey Droy returns for the injured Colin Pates. At number 7, Phil Driver, a recent buy from Wimbledon, starts a home match for the first time. Newcastle have 3 very new names in their side. At number 3, 18-year-old Chris Wyth, playing his second match today for the first team. He's the youngest brother of Peter Wyth. Number 6, Bruce Halliday, is 19 and making his league debut this afternoon. And number 9, Chris Waddle, a second cousin of Swansea's Alan Waddle, was working in a sausage factory before he signed for Newcastle, but he's done well in the reserves and made his league debut on Wednesday against Shrewsbury. It's exactly a year ago this week since Geoff Hurst was confirmed as manager here at Chelsea, with Bobby Gould as his assistant. Their team missed promotion on goal difference last season. Can they go one better this time, he's wondering. Referee Eric Reid of Bristol gets Chelsea going from right to left in the blue strip. Newcastle in the stripes with white shorts. John Bumstead for Chelsea to Mickey Droy. Number 3 is Dennis Roth. Mike Fillery, number 8. That was Halliday getting his first touch in league football for Newcastle. He's wearing number 6 for them. Clive Walker, the Chelsea captain recently. Billy Rafferty to Cartwright. Martin, Carney. There's Waddle. That was away by Nutton. There's Mick Martin again. Over to Chris Wyth, another of the newcomers. Bobby Shinton flicking it on to Rafferty. Turned back by Gary Chivers, who's wearing number 6, but you'll find him more in the right-back position because Graham Wilkins is out for some weeks with a dislocated shoulder. Lee, Bumstead, Fillery. Looks for Rhodes Brown on the inside of Steve Carney, who intercepted well. Fillery. This is Nutton. Good ball. Driver. 2 newcomers to the second division there, Driver and Wyth. Lee! Colin Lee scores for Chelsea. And that celebrates an anniversary for him. because it's 3 years ago to the day since Colin Lee scored 4 goals in his first game for Spurs in that 9-0 win over Bristol Rovers. And this afternoon he scores one for Chelsea to put them in front against Newcastle. It's Lee's 8th goal of the season for Chelsea and puts him out on his own now as their top scorer. It was made by Driver, who got the better of Chris With, crossed from the right, and Lee's header absolutely simple. But here's Waddle for Newcastle, looking for Wharton. He's found him. Corner. Oh, flicked right across, and Bone couldn't get his shot in, and Shinton tried as well. And Colin Lee there was back in defence. And here's Clive Walker. Good ball to Driver, and Driver sees his shot come off the feet of goalkeeper Carr. And this outside right from Wimbledon, making himself a very effective player indeed in the Chelsea attack in his first full home match. He made the goal and he nearly had one himself there. Mickey Troy was in first there but didn't make contact. Here's Driver again. Hillary. This is Walker trying to put Bumstead through. It's Chris With inside to Kenny Wharton. Carney. The teams were 5th and 7th respectively in the second division table before today, so rather like last season when they played here in 1st and 2nd place, they find themselves meeting on a day when points could play an important part in the second division promotion race. That's a foul by Carney on Rhodes-Brown. Two famous clubs, Chelsea and Newcastle, both yearning to get back into the big time. Dennis Rowe with the kick. Little shove there, but play goes on. Here's Bumstead, here's Driver. He's teasing With again, he's come inside, and a deflection offside. The important man there was the linesman. Colin Lee was stretching to get a touch on it, but he was offside. Halliday. Fillery. Did that really nicely, Mike Fillery, and got a lovely touch back from Rhodes-Brown. The two of them combining again there. Some refreshing football from Chelsea. So Rowe takes the throw and finds Lee. That's a foul again by Bohm. Those two are having quite a tussle. Stuart Bohm, number 5, and Colin Lee, the Chelsea number 9, who scored the only goal so far. Fillery's shot, it's in. So simple from Mike Fillery. That's his second goal of the week. Marotta celebrates. Fillery scored from further out than that at Orient on Tuesday night. Scores again today. A left-foot shot, beautifully placed from the free kick into the corner of the net. And in trying to save it, the Newcastle goalkeeper Kevin Carr was actually injured. After attention from the Newcastle physiotherapist Brian Collins, Kevin Carr is able to carry on. but his side are 2 goals down, and Chelsea will take some stopping or some catching now in this mood. There's Wharton. Martin. Chivers. Confidence spreading now through the Chelsea side, but Newcastle, knowing how important it is to come back quickly, have got Waddle in possession here. Ball was out there. Back of the picture there, Jeff Hurst, the Chelsea manager, will be well pleased with a 2-goal lead, I should imagine. Roach-Brown, Fillery in space, well found too, lovely pass, and player out to the right is Driver. Good move this by Chelsea. Pulls it back, Fillery, half save Walker. Walker put the ball in the net, slight argument after he'd scored with Mick Martin, I think, but it's 3-0 to Chelsea. And again, Driver initiated the move on the right. The ball pulled back for Fillery to shoot. And when it came back off the goalkeeper, Clive Walker made it 3-0. So Chelsea already have equalled their best winning margin of the season here at Stamford Bridge. They beat Grimsby 3-0 in their last home game. They lead Newcastle 3-0 in the first half today. Shinton, Martin, Bone, Carney, Rafferty, foul though by Rowe. Nobody's up there, good save Barotta. Stuart Bone's header shakes his head slightly. It was going in, I think, and Barotta fingertips over the bar. Here comes Mick Martin. Looking for Rafferty. That's Gary Chivers. Linesman flags. Free kick to Chelsea. Beautiful play again from Mike Fillery, and look at that from Driver. Lee! Oh, good save by Carr. That looked like 4-0, and Colin Lee's second. Lovely cross by Driver. Header by Lee, and Carr a very, very good save. Here's Driver. Away by Rafferty, I think. Back in again by Chivers. Here's Troy. Gary Chivers. And the goalkeeper is going to have to play centre-half for a moment. There's Rowe. cheer at half-time from the Stamford Bridge crowd reflects a fine 45 minutes by Chelsea. Colin Lee with the first goal after 15 minutes. That's his 8th in 9 games. The second by Mike Fillery from the free kick after 34 minutes. And the third by Clive Walker, just going in front of the Newcastle players 2 minutes before half-time. There could have been more, not only at that end, but also at the other end. A very exciting half. And Chelsea, 3 goals to the good. The Chelsea mascot these days is Stamford the Lion, providing the fans with some American-style entertainment here at Stamford Bridge. Newcastle, who start the second half 3 goals down, have never had very much luck here at Stamford Bridge. The last time they won here was way back in April 1954, when Ron Greenwood was playing centre-half for Chelsea. Here's McMartin, though. Walker, who scored Chelsea's third. This fixture over the years has tended to produce a lot of goals. I well recall my father bringing me to a match here some years ago when Chelsea beat Newcastle 6-5. So perhaps it's one of those matches which seem to produce the goals. 3 so far for Chelsea today. Here's Driver. Lee going in. Oh! Well, it does produce the goals, doesn't it? And Colin Lee has got 2 today now. And again, the supply line was this outside right Phil Driver. What a match he's having. So much is emanating from the Chelsea right. Driver in possession again, got the ball across, and Colin Lee put it away, making it 9 now for him in the last 9 games. That was 48 seconds into the second half on the watch, and Chelsea have equalled last year's score here against Newcastle when the game ended 4-0. There's an awful long way still to go today. Fillery. Bumstead. Here's Nutton. Leons is the referee, and Newcastle have a break, and Barotta is miles out of his goal at the moment. He's going back now. That's Wharton across to the far side, where Rafferty is backing up. And here's Waddle. Shinton. Not a very good pullback from Bobby Shinton. Newcastle haven't perhaps made quite the most of the good positions they've worked from time to time. Quite the reverse is true of Chelsea, who've capitalised on just about every opening. Here's Waddle. Doing quite well to turn that in from a tight angle there, Chris Waddle. Here's McMartin. Waddle. Martin again. Wharton. Played in for Cartwright. Nutton's tackle. There's Fillery. Lee, this first-time football of Chelsea is a joy to watch. There goes Walker. Oh, he's got a player free on this side if he can find him. Chivers! What a tremendous run from the back by Gary Chivers. That was superb football by Chelsea again. It started off with Walker laying the ball back. Lee was involved then. Fillery played the ball down to Walker. Walker made the space, and Gary Chivers had come, well, how many yards? over half the length of the pitch, certainly, to make it 5-0 to Chelsea. Driver, it's all coming down the right. Rose Brown. Corner now to Chelsea. And poor Kevin Carr must be wondering where the next assault is coming from. Newcastle's defence in front of him absolutely taken apart today. There's Lee, but a foul. This is the biggest pasting that Newcastle have taken since Arthur Cox on the left there in the raincoat became manager. It is a pasting at this stage of the afternoon, without a doubt. That was Droid. Newcastle about to make a substitution. The man coming on is Frans Koenen, the Dutchman, left-sided midfield player. And the man coming off is young Chris Waddle, who's learned the hard way today what life can be like away from home in league football. Nutton to Driver. And that's a foul by Wharton on Nutton. Wharton the offender, free kick to Chelsea. This is Frans Koenen for Newcastle. The man running is Rafferty, and look where Barotta is now. Oh, nicely done. He's back in his goal now to take the back pass, but the Chelsea crowd really enjoy those moments of exhibitionism from Petar Barotta. Walker. Oh, and Lee's in there, and not quite. Now Billy Rafferty tangling with Mickey Nutton. Walker actually needing some attention. I think he may have called a muscle at the back of the thigh. Obviously feeling the back of the leg there. So loud applause for the Chelsea number 10 as he's replaced at this late stage in the game, Clive Walker, replaced by Ian Britton, himself a popular player here at Stamford Bridge. The Chelsea manager making a late appearance on the touchline. Nick Martin for Newcastle. Cartwright to Koenen. Shinton and Rafferty both calling in the centre, and the ball safely in the hands of Barotta from Koenen's cross. And here comes Cartwright, trying to go past Rowe, and the referee again very close. Now he's set a goal kick. And again, no strong protest from Newcastle about that. Rowe intentionally there playing the ball. with 5 minutes to go. Newcastle still finding themselves 5 goals down. Billy Rafferty to Mick Martin. Going for the 1-2, here's Cartwright. Carney moving forward. And losing out. Rhodes Brown's done an awful lot of good foraging on that left-hand side. Colin Lee is moving into the centre now. Here's Rhodes Brown taking on Cartwright. Lee! Oh, what a fine goal! And his hat-trick on the anniversary of those 4 goals for Spurs. He's got 3 for Chelsea. And he's made the score 6-0. The credit, first of all, to Peter Rhodes Brown for a tremendous piece of foraging down the left-hand side, winning it, running with it, holding it, finally delivering it. Colin Lee flung himself forward to head it in. And Chelsea just putting the cap now on a really fine performance. An offside decision there back in the Chelsea penalty area. Swinton, Coonan, with and went back by Gary Chivers. That's a foul by Billy Rafferty. A huge roar greets a fine Chelsea performance. Bobby Gould and Jeff Hurst can afford to feel well pleased this weekend. Chelsea winning by 6 goals to 0 to take their current record to 16 points out of 18. 7 wins and 2 draws, but Jeff Hurst can reflect there on a performance which had plenty of First Division promise in a Second Division match.
And that magnificent win lifts Chelsea into 3rd place in the Second Division behind Notts County and West Ham, both of whom are currently enjoying great success themselves. Well, as John Motson said, the quality of some of Chelsea's forward play was quite outstanding. And at the centre of it was the hat-trick man, Colin Lee, who almost 3 years ago to the day had an unbelievable debut for Spurs against Bristol Rovers.
Here's Hoddle. Moore's got up there, Lee got it! Lee climbed it. There's Pratt getting in, Lee is there again! It's going to come to Taylor now, it's come to Lee!
Well, on that day at Tottenham 3 years ago, Colin, you were holding the match ball, and here we are at Stamford Bridge, and you've got the match ball again. But what's happened to you in those 3 years?
Well, I was in and out of the side at Tottenham, so, you know, I thought to myself, a clean break, get away from Tottenham, try and come to a side where I could play in the first team regularly. It didn't go right for me at first. I had a hamstring injury, which kept knocking me back in training and everything, and I couldn't get into the games or nothing. This lasted for 6 months, and in the end I had to sort of perform my own operation by breaking the hamstring down completely, and ever since I've done that I've been playing, and things are going quite well now.
A great day for Colin Lee, and I must say, in the modern game, how nice it is to see a side play with 2 wingers. A mini-match and a visit to Burnley, one of the founder members of the Football League, who for the first time in their illustrious history find themselves playing in the 3rd Division. Reporting from Turf Moor, where the visitors yesterday were Brentford, is Alan Parry.
When most of the present Burnley side were born, this famous old ground was full for almost every home match. 20 years ago, Burnley were one of the game's major powers. First Division champions in 1960, runners-up for the title, and FA Cup finalists 2 years later. The names of the Burnley stars of that era are part of football's folklore. John Connolly, Jimmy McElroy.
Good piece of goalkeeping there by Greg, and it's a wonderful goal.
Ray Pointer.
And Pointer there through on his own. And it's the first one, a wonderful goal by Pointer, a wonderful goal.
And the craggy Brian Miller.
Down the line to Pointer, going to hard across the goal. Once again McIlroy's onto it, has plenty of time, clips it across the far side. Miller that's up there to nod it in.
Well, 20 years on, Miller, a Burnley man born and bred, has become the club's manager. But Burnley have fallen into decline, and for the first time in their history, they're in the 3rd division.
Well, they don't talk much now about 1960. It is difficult, you know. I mean, we have a magnificent ground here. It's cost a lot of money. A lot of things have happened in the last 10 years. I think possibly if we can get a fair side together, the crowds will improve. It's a very small town, small population, but I think basically in the future we can hold our own.
Gates are low at Burnley these days, and like most clubs, they have to rely heavily on their thriving lottery to keep the finances sound. And typical of Burnley's family spirit, 2 former players, Peter Kippax and Jock Aird, are only too pleased to help out. But the key to Burnley's future must lie on the field. Brian Miller has got together a blend of young players and experienced internationals like Martin Dobson and Tommy Cassidy. And their experience was to prove vital against Brentford, who suffered a setback just before half-time.
Fox is there again for Burnley. Plenty of men inside the penalty area here. He finds Hamilton. Well, I think the referee had already blown for an infringement. Indeed he had. And points very firmly to the penalty spot. The Brentford player's furious. But the referee is quite adamant. So Martin Dobson, who's already scored twice from the penalty spot this season, will try to make it 3 out of 3. Well, that was effective enough. And Brentford will continue to argue about the award of that penalty. The referee wisely has got well away from the Brentford protests. And Dobson striking the penalty sweetly high into the net, and Burnley go 1 up.
The crowd of just over 7,000 saw relentless pressure by Brentford in the second half as they sought an equalising goal.
Good header away by Cassidy. Harris turning it back for Crown. On again by Shrub. Dobson's header away. Smith, it'll break for Hill. Charge down. And still the pressure from Brentford. This is Harris. Only players getting in each other's way in the end. And Scott's back to help out. Salmon will keep the pressure going though. What a fine effort by Cruz. And their pressure has been so great in this second half that Burnley are grateful to be holding on to their 1-goal lead. Dobson for Burnley. Lovely ball to Laws. Men in the middle here for Scott to pick out. Cruz clears only to Kavanagh. And Brentford pay the price for all-out pressure. When Burnley broke, they broke quickly. And as Scott turned the ball in, Cruz could only deflect the ball into the path of Phil Kavanagh, who made no mistake to send Burnley into a 2-goal lead. So 2 home points for Burnley, who maintain their unbeaten record at home in the league, and a win which will place them among the leaders in the 3rd division. And Bob Lord, who's seen the great days and the rather sadder ones here at Turf Moor, will I'm sure be pleased that Brian Miller, manager appointed just over a year ago, has got the side back on the right lines and back amongst the promotion candidates.
Well, as a result of that win yesterday, Burnley moved up 2 places and they're now level on points with Rotherham, Plymouth and Charlton, and just 2 points behind Chesterfield, who surprisingly lost at home to Walsall. Still to come, goal of the month, the day's transfer news and a visit to the crucial meeting of league chairmen at Solihull. But now it's time for First Division action, and yesterday's game at Elland Road between Leeds United and Crystal Palace, two struggling clubs who've had changes in management already this season, but who are beginning to show signs of improvement. Your commentator, Barry Davis.
Paul Madeley, who's been out for 8 matches, brings his considerable experience back to the Leeds side. As a result, Eddie Gray can move back to his more familiar place in midfield, but the manager Alan Clark has nothing but praise for his performances at left back. Arthur Graham has also been past fit, and it's quite clear that Alex Sabella, the Argentine, is to be made to fight for his first team place. Ernie Whalley fields an unchanged side, a side indeed that has a 100% record since he succeeded Terry Venables, 2 home wins. But away from home, they've yet to gain anything, but even so, the manager says they've come here to look for a win. The match offers a considerable contrast in managers. Alan Clark at 34, the youngest in the First Division, here very much by popular demand, and as he was as a player, determined to be his own man. Ernie Whalley is now 47 years old, has been around the game a long time, was with the Tottenham push and run outfit, then to Arsenal, then to Crystal Palace, where he was manager both of the youth side and the reserve side, but now gets his chance in the big time. The referee is Malcolm Heath of Stoke-on-Trent. Leeds United's home record under Alan Clark, 2 wins and a draw, 2 goals scored, none conceded, but they've lost 2 away games in a week. Wolves and Nottingham Forest. Leeds in the all-white strip, Crystal Palace in blue with the sash-looking diagonal stripe. Here's Terry Fenwick, and Carl Harris quickly goal side. Nicholas. Connor. Flynn. Mike Flanagan being fouled by Graham. Flanagan, who's now playing left side of midfield, and from that position scored a hat-trick against Southampton in the week. Played by Vince Hilaire and Kevin Hurd. And already in the start, the amount of work that Leeds United are prepared to put in is being clearly shown. Connor. Flynn. Oh, well saved by the keeper. It's a really nice try by Brian Flynn. The ball ran kindly to him, but he was clearly trying to lob Barron, who'd come forward. And the goalkeeper moved his feet very quickly to cover in time. It's Walsh who got it away. Here's Hurd, who started that Leeds move from one end to the other. It's Flynn who was on the finish of it. Here's Eddie Gray. Hurd now with room to cross. On by Connor. Barron available, but did it go for the corner? No, play on. Paul Barron, who hasn't missed a game for Palace, nearly missed the League Cup match at Tottenham. It was reinstated when John Barry didn't want to play. Allen got up high enough, but much too early. Cherry instantly played wide. Here's Graham. Greenough. That's nice into Flynn. Connor. Oh, fine goal. Really fine goal. The goal getting the applause that it deserves. Really good build-up. Graham Greenough, who played it nicely through to Flynn, who was able to feed Connor, who stuck it wide of Paul Barron's left hand. Really very, very well worked goal. 11 minutes gone, and Leeds in the lead. Flynn. Graham. Taking on Fenwick, Francis behind. And that's a corner. Paul Hart is up. And Greenough off the line by Hinshelwood. It was Greenoff's header, and Paul Hinshelwood cleared it off the line with some difficulty. Harris with the corner, it's a variation, comes to Flynn, touched in by Connor, who surely is offside. Surely is offside. Well, it certainly looked as though Connor was offside, although the linesman kept his leg down. In the end, the referee has given a free kick for offside. Gray. Dangerous by Hurd. Madeley. Flynn. Graham, Greenoff the player making the run outside him. It's these two that started the goal that Connor scored. And 3 in the middle for Connor now. And it's gone in from Carl Harris. No! Well, the referee looks down. The linesman is absolutely level. And no goal. So Connor was there. Carl Harris, it seemed to be the ball across the line, but the linesman absolutely level said that it hadn't. They all dived in after it. Francis, Clive Allen. No mean turn by Clive Allen. He thought he may have had a deflection, but the referee thought otherwise. But that's really an example of Clive Allen's ability. He hasn't really been in the match, and for the fact that that didn't get a deflection, it seems that Ian Walsh has said something too much for the referee's liking. That rasping drive by Clive Allen, which earned Ian Walsh a booking for complaining that it should have been a corner, was the last incident of the first half. We pick up the match now 4 minutes into the second half, and Crystal Palace have had to bring on their substitute Steve Lovell in place of Jerry Francis, who was feeling faint. Flanagan. Really rasping effort from Mike Flanagan. He did very clean, and he gets a corner for it. Palace's first corner is Hinshelwood. And Lukic forced into activity. Flanagan. And Fenwick again making a point about handball. And here's Connor. And no one's going to run faster than the referee. Here's Connor. That's nice. 2 square. And Billy Gilbert cut out the cross ball. The referee really had to sprint from one area to the other and did well. This is Graham. And Graham on the outside line going well. And a yellow card has been given against Gilbert. Leeds have got 5 players to run away from us as we look. Harris has now got to the near post. Peel back to Flynn and hit the woodwork. And the referee making quite sure where the ball came back off, and in fact pointing to the stanchion, but it hit the stanchion on the outside and not on the inside.
Come on, now, let's go, let's win it. Hey, it's over! It's over! Get fucking done! Distance!
shirt tugging by Harris. And the final whistle has been blown, the third victory for Alan Clark, and the third by a 1-0 scoreline. The goal scored by Terry Connor in the 11th minute. And looking back on the match, it can be seen that that move was much the tidiest and most considered thing that happened during the 90 minutes. 1-0 to Leeds United, and a first defeat for Crystal Palace under their caretaker manager, Ernie Whalley.
Well, I'm quite sure Leeds' new manager, Alan Clark, will be satisfied with 2 points. He's already stated that getting results is the only thing that matters to him just now. And to help get Leeds out of their current predicament, it seems Clark is set to pay around £300,000 for Terry Yorath, currently injured and out of the side at Spurs. The two, of course, were formerly teammates at Elland Road at a time when Leeds were one of the most feared teams in the country.
He finds Yorath. Good play by Terry Yorath. Oh, and a fine goal too. What about that one?
Well, there still appears to be some confusion about Terry's return to Elland Road, with Alan Clark denying any approach today, but Spurs manager Keith Birkinshaw believing the deal is on. Well, if Yorath does rejoin his former club, it will be Alan Clark's first signing since succeeding Jimmy Adamson as manager. I know more sensible transfer fees is one of the points under discussion at the two-day seminar for Football League chairmen, which began this morning in Solihull. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the many problems currently facing football. And to find out what's happened today, let's join Jimmy Hill, who has with him Graham Kelly, the Secretary of the Football League.
Graham, are you pleased with what happened today?
Very pleased indeed, yes. I think it was one of the most progressive meetings. In retrospect, it'll turn out to be one of the most progressive meetings that the League has had for many years. I'm very optimistic about the outcome.
That's good news to start with, but what things can the fans expect as a result of today's meeting?
Well, as a first step, there was a very real awareness of the need for change. As a first step to bringing adventure back into the game, the clubs feel that they should go for 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. So that's the first thing that's high on the agenda for the management committee to bring in.
Yes, to encourage attacking football.
To encourage attacking football, to bring flair back in and to try and take a little bit of the fear out of the game. Bearing in mind that these are only recommendations today, we haven't been making decisions, we've been talking about the problems and trying to find some indications about how we can move forward.
Yeah. But on the other hand, the response was so overwhelming to some of the things, you would expect them to be put into legislation by next season.
I would think so, yes. Yes, there was a very firm response to so many of the topics that we talked about today.
What else was there? Transfer fees? There was something on that, wasn't there?
Transfer fees were talked about, yes, and the indication here is that at least half the transfer fee should be paid on the nail, cash payment on the nail, for 50% of the fee, with a balance to be spread over a maximum period of 12 months.
The period of the season, that was another thing?
Period of the season, yes, there was a very strong, in fact, I think it was more or less unanimous that we were starting the season too soon. Also that we were bringing in the season in dribs and drabs. We were fragmented with the League Cup starting before the main championship. And the feeling was that we should endeavour to get a September to May season.
September to May season to give people a rest and recapture their appetite during the summer.
Yeah, we feel that we've reached saturation point in many ways, and their appetites are no longer there at the start of the season. And we think that you know, this is something we should be looking at.
Hooliganism.
Hooliganism, yes, we spent a long time on that today. The League's taking a very firm line on that. We're joining with the FA in making recommendations to the government that we need cooperation on this. We can't do it all ourselves. We've done so much within football, we've done so much and we've spent so much, but we need more help from government, we need more attendance centres, we need magistrates to impose maximum rather than minimum sentences.
And one other thing about weekends, the club's going to have the opportunity probably to play a match when it likes over a weekend.
That also was a firm feeling of the meeting, that clubs should have the option to play whenever it wishes over the weekend at a time when, you know, people want to come and see them.
Well, Graham Kelly, thank you very much indeed. I know you didn't believe it was going to happen, and neither did I, but that's a marvellous day, I think, for football, and it means you're going to get better value next year. Bob.
Well, on this very important weekend for the game of football, we end with a goal which, for me, produced everything. Teamwork, individual skill, and a clinical finish. Goodbye for now.
Wharton played in for Cartwright. Nutton's tackle. There's Fillery. Lee, this first time football of Chelsea's a joy to watch. There goes Walker. Oh, he's got a player free on this side if he can find him. Chivers!